Hey, what's up guys? This is Killer Jin. I'm actually gonna do a little bonus video that I promised someone. Basically just to show you how you can make something that it's like a rope. Ever played Final Fantasy and like there's a rope that brings you to the beginning of like the dungeon that you're in? Not just like just some item that basically teleports you back to any location that you want. That's easy to do. But I mean actually knowing that you're in a dungeon and sending you to the beginning of that dungeon. So basically, we're going to do that now. I set it up again. To know some of these things, you would have to watch my coding video 1 and 2 and 3. I haven't posted 3 yet, but it's going to go up right after this. Basically, this is how it works. You know, you're here, you're chilling. Basically, this is a dungeon I made real quick. You're in the dungeon, you're going, you're exploring it, having a good time. Basically, you use the item rope, and it brings you to the beginning of the dungeon. Yay! Or let's say you went to some other dungeon somewhere else. You're just exploring it, having a good time, and then you're like, crap, let me go leave. So basically, you use the same rope, and boom, you're back to the beginning of that dungeon. And if you're not in a dungeon, let's say you're like in the world map, and you try to use it, basically the item will tell you, it should tell you, you're not in a dungeon, so it can't bring you nowhere. Or if you're like in town and you're like inside of a house or something. Oh crap, I forgot I did this. This is just an example cutscene. Okay, so yeah, so you're here inside your house and you're like, oh, let me use this rope. Guess what? You're not in a dungeon, so the game knows you're not in a dungeon. How do you do that? Well, again, on my code 3, I showed you map auto runs. My coding video 3, map auto runs. This is how you do it. Basically, you see this has an auto run. This is my map auto run. And if you go to the dungeons, they have auto runs as well. See game update, and then here it is here. So basically, you just want to do that game update auto run, and basically it's going to update a variable that you created called dungeon number. So variable 3 is dungeon number. So if you look, this is dungeon number 2, and you see the name, and this obviously will update the game. Same thing, auto run. It'll run automatically, and it'll erase itself. Dungeon number 1. So basically, when you enter it, it's just gonna update the game and let you know you're in the dungeon. So no matter how far you go, it could be a ton of maps or whatnot. This is updated to dungeon 1. And the point is, if you ever leave the dungeon, let's say you go to the world map, any world map, there should be a game update on the world map as well. And as you can imagine, the anywhere else that's not a dungeon will say dungeon number 0. Because dungeon number 0 means you're not in a dungeon. So whenever you leave, it's updated. Whenever you go in, it's updated. That's how it works. And it doesn't matter. I mean, this could be much bigger, much different maps. It still works the same. It's just for, to make things quick. And basically now it's like, okay, well, I see how the map updates, updating the dungeon variable. Okay, let's see what's up with the code. So basically I would want to make an item in my database that basically calls a common event, leave dungeon. Typical stuff, not consumable unless you want it consumable. For mine, it's infinite. Of course, if you don't want it and one-time use, you can put it consumable. Scope, none. Occasion, menu screen, not battle screen because you don't want them to use it during a battle. Leave dungeon. So basically, it's like, okay, let's see this common event, leave dungeon. It looks a little convoluted now because I put that special like the light coming down making me look all special. That actually I had to code that in. So without all that fancy smancy graphics, it actually is very, very basic. But if I go to leave dungeon, see if you're dungeon 0, you're not in a dungeon. The game updated it. You're not. It'll tell you you're not in a dungeon. Else you're in dungeon number 1. The light pillar comes down. It waits a certain amount of frames. It makes you transparent. It changes you to the world map, and then it puts a light pillar. So basically, it's really just should be one without all these fancy graphic commands here. It's basically to just transfer player to the proper spot in the world map, giving that is dungeon 1. And if it's dungeon number 2, the one line that matters, transfer the player to the map, the world map, in a different location. All of this is just fancy smancy light stuff. I just wanted to put it there. And basically, that's it. I mean, again, I guess the moral of the story to really get out of this is how incredibly useful auto runs are to update things and erase themselves whenever you enter a map. That is super important. And again, coding lesson 3 with mining, the master level code, basically goes into how you do this to send signals to the ore to tell itself to update. And again, if you want to know how to make the best mining events ever, I mean ever, all YouTube, you look for all types of mining coding, and I bet you this is the best one. But watch them in order: code 1, 2, and 3. Anyways, that's how you make a rope item. Again, if I got this idea from the forums, if more people ask me how to do some cool stuff, I'll make some videos and show you guys how it's done. So other than that, it's basically done. So I'm gonna move on to the next thing, which is how to create a party system, Suikoden style. So let's say you have a maximum of 4 people in your party, but you have like 8 people to choose from, and you want to be able to have any kind of have anyone in your party that you want. But of course, if there's 8 people, you can only choose 4 to be in your party. So how do you dismiss people at will, no matter what, and then add people? And how does the game know if your party is full? How does it know and update, to put the people back when they're not in your party and to make them disappear when they're in your party? That's going to be the next video, so hopefully you guys want to check that out. So just let me know what you think, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks, guys.